Alright, hello everybody. This is just some tips and tricks regarding Sapiens. Um, we're going to go into the game here. I already started some of the game. This is just a few tips for beginners and to see that everybody can actually utilize it when they're playing the game. So we'll start out with some important keys. There's only about 3 keys you really need to know. The first key is tab. Tab increases your speed. You can see in the left hand corner it goes faster and slower. That's a normal speed, and then faster. You're going to need that to speed up the game somewhat. Second one is Q. Then you can get to the bolding block here, decorate and plant and all the paths you can do. And it's also the keys up here as well, where you can access the tribe and the routes as well as the settings. And then the third key that's quite important is the F2 key. The F2 key, you can look at all the different Sapiens, and you can also look at their roles, the resources, and the stats. So let's start with the next thing. Important one step that you want to know. You can see this new breakthrough here. This comes down way down the line here. The first thing you need to know is about the food. So food is important for Sapiens, especially in the winter. You can see we're now in the fall colors here with the beautiful tree colors here. So food is important. Around the town there's a lot of food sources that you can access. It is sometimes quite cumbersome and it's hard to get at. So you want to start accessing these in the beginning and then start planting them around your town as quickly as possible, because that will make harvesting so much easier. Food that you have to focus on is really the beetroots. Beetroots are excellent because they last a long time in the store, as well as pumpkins and apples. Pears, I started with a lot of pears here. Pears get rotten very quickly, so it's not as useful as is the berries. So you can skip those. I would mainly focus on the pumpkins as well as the beetroots around the city. So now, the next thing you have to know is you want to investigate everything. So as soon as you start picking something up, you want to investigate it. Each time you click on a certain item, so on here for instance there will be a little bar with a light bulb that comes up. You want to investigate that as soon as possible, because that will help you to introduce more things. So you can see here for instance, so if you look down here you can see you have 10 unfired urns, 2 unfired urns that's wet, and then it can rot outside and dries very soon outside. But this is your investigation button, so you push that, one of your Sapiens will run towards this and start investigating it. If you push on this bar as well, when you see it is yellow, there's always a reason. If it's green, it will start doing the activity. Here you can see it's yellow. They say they can investigate no I don't know what that means actually. Light killer nearby. I guess it's no light or something nearby. So once it becomes light in the day, then it will be better to see it. So now, the second thing, you want to hunt. Hunting is important, especially in the winter. As you can see how nicely my Sapiens are dressed in this fashionable wool skin. So you want to get that, otherwise they will freeze and they will become really, really unhappy about their environment, and they will leave your clan, which you don't really want. So if you look around, you can see I really hunted everything already. There's not a lot left here. But there are chickens running around somewhere. Chickens are usually your first thing you want to hunt. And then you can investigate. So usually the first way you'd start is by investigating the chicken. And then they figure out they can hunt it, and then you can start butchering it, and you can cook the meat, etc. So here we have a little alpaca. So you can see here, this is where you hunt them, and then you can butcher them and come down. But they will be a little bit closer to your city in the beginning, because obviously once you start killing them, they start to try and stay away. Although this guy is still sitting right here. Anyhow, then you want to watch out for mammoths. So mammoths look like a lot of meat. I've lost a lot of Sapiens in mammoth attacks. So I still have to kill a mammoth. Haven't done it yet, but my plan is to do that soon. So trees. Trees are important. I plant a lot of trees around my city, as you can see here. The goal of that is because you can pick up some branches. You can see you can pick up branches here. You can gather some seeds. And the next thing is you can chop it down, which is really important because then you can build all these constructs. So now storage. Storage, you will start with storage outside. Storage outside is not as useful because it can obviously decompose, as you can see here with the urns that we have here. You want to keep it inside. This is the most important spot. And if you put your little mouse over the food product, on the left hand corner you can see it says beetroots and it's inside. So this will last forever. If you look, for instance, here, gooseberries, you can say it will be gone in a few days inside. So berries, a very short-lived food source. Raspberries, the same. But if you look at the beetroots, it will last a few years inside. So that's what you want to really do. You want to keep it inside as much as possible. And you can see apples are pretty much the same. Not as good, obviously, as the beetroots or the pumpkins. So those are the things you really want to focus on. So now, if you have a house, to make it inside, all the flooring is not always level. So if you look at this house, my initial house, some areas will be up in the air, some will not be up in the air. You have to fill it in with soil that you dig out from somewhere else to ensure that your whole house is not, there's no open areas. Otherwise, the game considers it as to being outside. Once you get a little bit more involved, you can see that there will be floorboards on here. So this will make it way more stable when you have a larger area that you can actually store stuff in. So you can see here, this is a much more advanced house that I built later onwards. It takes a long time to build, a lot of trees. So here, but then you can actually get it better sorted out. Otherwise, it's very hard to get them level and you have to fill things in. So for instance, my house that I built here for people to sleep in, because it's so unlevel, I can't even get into the house from the door because it is not a level area. Some areas are higher up and some areas are lower down. So that's important to do as well. So then, always remember that you can always harvest across the side there as well. This is a river here, so you can swim across there. So there's always a lot of resources on the other side of the river as well. So you can get that. And then, interesting enough, sometimes at the top here, in the top right hand corner, there's a little sound that sounds, and it will show that there is a tribe nearby, or somebody has died, or somebody became an elder, etc. But that's also important information. The last information is quite interesting, is when you go to this whole area here. If you look at the sapiens, there are different sapiens around, and you can see how they behave in each one. So if you look there, you can see these are all the ones. If you look at the effects that they have, you can see they're well rested. Here you can see there's a problem. So this one is very cold. He probably doesn't have wool skin on. These are the roles that was assigned to them, but these are the skills they have. So you obviously want to assign the roles, what the skills they have, but as you assign it to them, they will develop the skills as it goes on. This is a very useful like role or tablet as well, because it shows you that 3 people are assigned to butchery, 2 people are assigned to blacksmithing. So you can actually see which one. So I have nobody that's doing mud brick building. So if I want to change that, I can say, okay, well, there's too many people cooking. If I push on there, I can see all these guys have the basic cooking skill and they're assigned to that. So if I want to say Mija is now going to be doing not cooking anymore, but she's going to be doing some mud brick building for now instance. So that's how you can change the roles around, and then it will become, so now suddenly I have one that's doing mud brick building, which I want to do as well. You want to always have somebody always involved in how the roles are assigned. Here are all your resources, as you can see, so that's important to keep an eye on it. If you have an alpaca carcass, then you actually have to find someone to go butcher it, otherwise it just lies there. And these are just stats to see how your elders have improved, if somebody is pregnant. So you can see there is 1 person pregnant at all times for the past 10 days now about, or 8 days. There was 2 at one point, but obviously delivered. And then if you go to the building section, here you can see you can decorate things. So there you can see Olin has died from old age. So very unfortunate. I don't know where Olin is now. I don't think this is Olin. I think he's already...
Sinapona.
Anyhow, Olin is already in the ground, I guess. So those are mainly the tips and tricks. Please subscribe if you like this video. Thanks, bye.